It was late. Frances was just finishing up a De Beers honeymoon series. She reveled in her work. Time seemed to evaporate when she was writing. There was just one thing left now: the tagline. She pondered yet again the consumer. What does that diamond represent to them? What does everyone want in their relationship? No, she corrected herself. What does everyone want in life? We all want to leave a mark on the world, no? In one way or another, we all want to be remembered. A diamond, she thought. A diamond is forever.
Well, welcome to a special edition of Adobo Talks, the business of creativity. It's a series of insightful and educational sessions where we take a closer look on how creativity inspires and unleashes inventive solutions. Here we look at creativity that not only delights and astounds, but more importantly, drives innovation and growth. I'm Angel Guerrero. I'm founder and editor-in-chief of Adobo Magazine, the word on creativity. Today, we're joined by the esteemed women of the Gerety Awards grand jury. We're lucky to have them today, and they're going to bring their wealth of experience and expertise to the table. The Gerety Awards, named after Frances Gerety, of course, a woman, who coined the term, "A diamond is forever." The Gerety Award marks the first time a jury has been brought together to select the best in advertising, all advertising, not just advertising made for women, but it's seen through the female lens. So the Gerety Awards globally is judged by 100% female judges. So get ready to delve into the world of advertising and creativity with our panelists as they share their unique insights and experiences. So I'm very excited to introduce to you our panelists for today. First, we have Golda Roldan. She's the Chief Executive Officer of VML Philippines. So our first panelist is a veteran with over 25 years in marketing communications and has managed top brands like Unilever and Nestle. She's won numerous awards, including the Philippine first Gold Can Lion. And I was there to see it when, at that time, JWT won the first Can Gold Lion for a radio spot. So congratulations to Golda on that and her team. She also led JWT, and then of course later known as Wonderman Thompson, to significant growth and multiple industry accolades. She's a key figure in the 4As of the Philippines and the Advertising Standards Council. And she spearheaded campaigns like Filipina Forward and initiatives, addressing vaccination confidence and sexism. So we're thrilled to have her with us today. Golda Roldan, CEO of VML Philippines. Okay, next, I have three, by the way. So first is Golda. Next is Nonthaporn Pulp Ketmanee. She's Senior Creative Director of Publicis Hong Kong. She's actually Thai, and then she moved to work in Publicis in Hong Kong. She has over a decade of industry experience, and she joined Leo Burnett in 2020 as group head, and then quickly advanced to creative director. Specializing in integrated team leadership, she started work on various brand strategies throughout her career. She started just, as an art director in Ogilvy, and then later became an ACD in Great NJ United with Kunjuripon. And then her extensive experience includes collaborations with both local and global clients such as P&G Thailand, Samsung, and McDonald's. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nonthaporn, nicknamed Pulp Ketmanee, Senior Creative Director of Publicis Groupe Hong Kong. Next, and not the last, our final panelist is Valerie Madon, Chief Creative Officer of McCann Worldgroup Asia Pacific, Singapore. Someone I know very well. I've seen her career as she defends a lot of excellent work and also women in creativity. I've seen her in all the award shows you can imagine. So I'm really honored to have her here in our panel for the Gerety Executive Jury Insights Adobo Talk session. So Valerie has had a passion for painting since childhood. By the way, she also created ice cream. I've tried her ice cream, and she's doing pottery right now, but you can see an artistic side in her. So she started painting when she was, a little girl, and then she led a 20-year career eventually in brand building and creative solutions for major brands like Zespri, Singapore Airlines, and Burger King. She's recognized as one of Asia Pacific's top creatives. And then she just joined McCann as Chief Creative Officer for Southeast Asia in May of 2023 and expanded her role to cover Asia Pacific by August 2020. So imagine that in a few months, she just held Southeast Asia, and now she's covering all of APAC. Previously, she led Creative Shop at Meta for Southeast Asia and emerging markets. So we're honored again to have and introduce Valerie Madon, Chief Creative Officer of McCann Worldgroup Asia Pacific. Well, welcome, ladies. I look forward to having a great conversation with you, Golda, Valerie, and Pulp. There, Pulp made it on time.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Fantastic. How are
Hello.
you?
Hi, everyone.
So
Hi.
just want to check where you guys are today. So Golda, you're in Manila, correct?
Yes, I'm in Manila. Working
How's the
from
weather
home.
there?
Good. Actually, it's not raining. Just right.
Okay, thank goodness. We've had a lot of rain. How about you, Valerie? Where are you today?
Singapore, missing you here.
I'll be there sooner than you think. Lovely to see you. And then Pulp, where are you today?
Still in Hong Kong,
Still in
and
Hong
the
Kong.
sunshine
Wonderful.
today.
Sorry?
Very sunshine today.
Oh, great. Because the last time we spoke, it was raining quite heavily in Hong Kong. So the rains moved from Manila to Hong Kong. Well, today I'm calling in from Houston. So we're coming from all over the world today. And it's wonderful because when we have women in the room, no matter where we're from, we're going to have a great time. So, so given the focus of today for the Gerety Awards and this all-female panel, I just want to know what it was like as part of the jury when you judged the awards. I mean, how does being in an all-woman panel influence and perhaps elevate your judging standards compared to the other awards? Did you judge it differently? So I'll ask Pulp. Did it make a difference that you're all female jury?
Yeah, actually, the judging the Gerety Award was my first time and on an international panel. And what makes it special to me is like I met amazing perspective of incredible women in the room, which is like it's rare that I can have like those experience.
Yeah, it
among
is a
the
privilege.
others.
Yeah, it is a privilege.
Yeah.
I feel the same when you're in a room full of women. It's just the feeling is different. I think people talk a little more, but thank you for that. And congratulations that it's your first international panel. It's good to see that you're part of it. How about you, Val? What's it like? I mean, did it make a difference in how you judge the work?
I have to say, like, I shouldn't say it makes a difference because, men are equally good judges. And I've been in so many panels where obviously we're all diverse groups of people and different genders all coming together. But I think there's something very emotional and special when you know that you are not even in a room. Like I'm just doing online judging. There's this weird sisterhood connection that you feel. You just can't believe that, like you're talking about like 50 or 100 of these female faces that you're connected together doing this. I think it's such a interesting unspoken feeling that connects all of us. And so I think from a judging perspective, I don't think I've judged it differently because we are all here to judge creativity in every single show.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, but I always, and just I can't remember how many times I've judged Gerety. I'm a firm supporter of Gerety since day one because it opened my eyes to how many great female creatives there are, right? But
yeah, 'cause they discover women
I know,
creatives
right? It's
that
crazy.
normally under the radar, right? So it's great.
No, and I have to say, like, it's interesting because while the work may have traveled in different shows, I've always been able to. There are always interesting insights that comes from the Gerety panel. When it's a full female panel, we some of us see things very differently, and I always it becomes very eye opening, and it's like it's constantly learning that, hey, I didn't see that. Like I didn't see that from, but I can relate to it because I'm female.
Yes. Yeah, female lens, as they say. How
Yeah.
about you, Golda? What was it like for
Well,
you?
I kind of agree with Val. Generally, I always believe that the creativity that shines, if it solves a problem, or if it entertains, if it empowers. So, I guess you just judge it according to that. But when it takes into account diverse perspectives, or in this case, like an all female panel, it can foster a perspective that we know is underrepresented. I mean, I've not been in Cannes. I only hear stories shared by friends, and we know. I think there is still that level of underrepresentation in the creative industry. But when I would like to think, when a woman like me, when judging, we bring, well, at least I bring in this nuanced criteria, and I would echo what Val said. It's emotion. This, anything that will resonate to you emotionally. So I don't know if it's, I bring in my experience of being a mom, or being menopausal, I don't know, or maybe like being like a female leader, right? So that, I guess, that is something that is ownable to us, right? So I guess that can come out when we look at really great creative pieces.
Yeah, so what you said, Golda, leads very well into the next question about, being a woman, the perspective. Did you actually look at different criterias or considerations in your evaluation process? As you say, as a woman, you have a different way of feeling towards ads and messaging. So, did that bring something to the table? Because I know a woman's perspective is always different from that of a man in certain elements of a campaign, right? So, you did say what you wanted to say, Golda, about that. Thank you for leading into this question. So, Pulp, did it change the way you think, and in terms of criteria? Yeah, aside from, of course, emotion, perhaps a little more emotional. I don't know. You tell us.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a truly open my eyes. Like it's like eye-open experience for me. So it's helping me to rethink how evaluate the work and idea, focusing on more meaningful impact for women perspective rather than just usual um perspective or criteria from another panel, something like that. So it's also applied to the normal work that I do as well. That I have to be like think more deeper in terms of many perspective of the gender perspective as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, right? You talk about gender perspective, and we've seen that through the years. I'm sure Valerie has seen that through the years. When a woman speaks, the gender perspective really shifts the room sometimes in the conversation.
Yeah.
So, Val, you tell us, um,
Yeah.
what
No,
what goes into
I
play.
I have to say that, like I said, been having seen already judged a few Garrity shows, and it's consistent. There are those, there I always see that there are some emotional pieces that come through more successfully in a Garrity show than in other shows. I think, and but that's the great thing about, the diversity in shows, right? Then at least, different pieces of work gets a chance in different shows, and it's celebrated differently here. So definitely, I think there is a bit of more heart, you know, for work that's a bit more emotional too, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Clearly, it would also resonate with consumers. But I think I mean, the one thing that I love to touch on when it comes to having female judges in a panel is calling out bullshit. Like, I think we're not gonna, when sometimes, I mean, maybe our mom side or our our feisty side comes out, right? Like especially there's pieces of work, especially that are always said they are made for women, but you can tell it's complete bullshit, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
like
it's made for women, but created by men.
I don't like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that because I don't want to discount that men can do great
No,
advertising for
I
women.
know this is not a men bashing panel in any way.
Yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
But you can tell that maybe you don't feel it. You don't know what we go through. You don't know the dangers we go through. You don't know the criticisms we go through, the hardship that we go through. So naturally, some pieces of work lack that empathy,
Empathy, yeah.
and we'll call it out, right? And I have to mention this, and I can't remember her name now. I completely like losing my memory, but um she leads Forsman. She's the one behind the epic split and all that. Can't remember her name, but one thing I always remember her for being in a jury with her, not in Garrity, unfortunately, in another show.
Mm.
She was the one who called up and said, we cannot award work that is about porn anymore,
Yeah.
right? And at that time, there were only 2 or 3 of us as female in a panel of 10 men.
Oh,
And
oh,
yeah, and she there were pieces of work that was still coming in that was, about promoting things like Pornhub and stuff like that. And she says, you know what, we should stop as an industry to do this. If we don't agree with this industry, then we should not even be awarding work for industries like that. And I think it takes a woman to say
to
this.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And true enough, because of what she said that year, the next year onwards, there were no more porn work.
Ah, see how
Mm.
significant that change happened because of one woman's
Yeah,
voice. Well, thank
yeah.
you for sharing that with us because
Wow.
again, speak up and then things will shift. And it's a good thing that you talked about the epic split. I remember I did interview her. I also have a mental block here, but I hope it comes up before the end. Yeah, Forsman, yes, yes, indeed. So shall we look into the work now? So let's dive into the campaigns that you chose. So amongst the Grand Prix, right? We went through the winners of the Gerety Awards Grand Prix. The results have come out. Now, you are going to choose, and you've chosen which ad stood out the most that secured it a Grand Prix, surpassing the other outstanding works. Now, we're going to ask you to go through the campaign one by one, and you've each chosen, and then you tell us why you chose these ads, and why you think these ads won. So this is really a deep dive on the jury insights because you're privileged to be part of that panel. Now, let's go through Golda. Golda chose. You want to tell us what you chose, Golda, for your pick?
Yeah, the women's football for Orange by Marcel Paris. Well, actually, I like the handful, but I chose this one. So, I thought it was really a powerful commentary on gender equality. So, it just cleverly overturned expectations in a way that is visually captivating. So, we just in Manila we just had their adobo football cup. This was
Yes.
Angel
Mm.
hosted this. So, but this is mixed, right? But normally you get, I mean, me, I'm not a football player, but I enjoy watching it, and usually enjoy watching it, men playing it, right? So, and this one really addressed a societal bias up front, right? So it was so clever, really. It tackled um that cultural statement right away, pun intended, tackled the bias, right? So
There we go.
so right. So normally, right, you don't really watch women's football. It's often described as not exciting. I mean, me, when I watched this case video, I was so excited by it. Just the moves of the men, and when it flipped that and then flipped the narrative, the ability to surprise, it was really, for me, it was really brilliant. When you're watching this, enjoying the men's moves, and only to later reveal that the players were women. So it really showed that skill and excellence. It doesn't know gender, that even men and women can play it just the same, can be great at it. It's not even about who's better. So that twist was really surprising. um i would use a lot of I would use clever a lot of times in this in this material, because even the clever use of technology really added this layer of technical sophistication. It really helped in the narrative twist, right? So it's all that how the narrative was flipped, the clever use of the CG or the technology, right? It complemented it. The cultural statement, right? it really challenged that deep-rooted bias. So, and even that, how do you say this? That emotional, it resonated to you emotionally because me personally, I enjoy watching men's football, but that it is an emotional roller coaster. In other words,
I'm glad you brought out these points about its craft as well as the surprising thing about football, insights on football. And it's true, Adobo Football Cup had women players, and it really made a big difference. But I also hope that I know that women's football is slowly selling more tickets and getting more airtime, at least in the UK. So let's see the campaign, guys. Let's take a look at the Woman Campaign by Marcel Paris for their client Orange.
The French women's national team is drawing attention with a new ad.
Publicité, je sais pas si vous l'avez vu, elle est incroyable.
Ela tem comercial que tá bombando, né?
É sensacional.
Best marketing I have ever seen.
It is the most amazing thing I have ever seen.
It's the best ad I've seen anywhere.
The exact kind of thing that would go viral.
Stop what you're doing and watch this right now.
Ah, c'est passé.
Bravo.
Oui, c'est passé.
Oh, oui.
Les Bleus qui reviennent dans le match.
Et on a encore le droit de rêver. Ah, quel de domicile.
Avec le pied droit. Ah, il va être direct.
Ça passe.
Le centre frais. C'est ça, le football qu'on aime.
Oh my god, it's so good.
2-minute video, the footage rewinds.
The VFX are removed. It is in fact the elite French women's teams.
Pegou futebol feminino.
Et en réalité, ce sont les femmes de l'équipe de France.
Mate, show me what I'm looking at.
That tells me that women can't play like men, they can even play better.
The French women's national team is drawing attention with a new ad.
Publicité.
Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that make you just feel great?
Yeah,
one of those great campaigns that thank you to Orange for even approving that and the agency behind that. I think it changed everyone's expectation of how women play football. So well done with that. Thanks for your selection, Golda. That was a good pick. Now we'll turn over to Pulp Ketmanee. She has chosen a campaign. Which one did you choose, Pulp?
My selection is Runner 321 for Adidas and by FCB Canada. And I chose it because I'm curious about the number of 321 at first. I didn't know that the number is has a story behind. It's draw me in that it's not just a story, it's a beautiful tale of humanity behind it. So I want to learn more about it. So basically
you can take a look at the campaign before you when you dissect it. Let's all get familiar with Runner 321 by FCB Canada for their client Adidas.
His famous number 3, 23 is back.
When I was a kid, I rarely saw anyone who looked like me in mainstream sports. And now we're chasing that.
321 signifies the chromosome that causes Down syndrome.
Great. So Adidas is creating a number to represent the Down syndrome community.
Now, just like every other sport, running has an iconic number.
Adidas is calling on every major marathon to hold bib 321 for an athlete with Down syndrome so that more athletes will see themselves represented in mainstream sports.
It's time. We shall run a 3-2-1 in every race. Bring forward
Chris Nikic made an impression on everyone who saw that moment at the finish line at the October Boston Marathon. Chris, such an inspiration.
Yeah.
We are really excited to be holding Runner 321 bib for all of our races this year.
I want everyone like me. This is possible for them too.
Bib 321 will inspire a whole generation of runners.
Okay, so Paul, tell us why you picked this campaign.
Yeah, I saw it for the first time. I feel like there's a lot of way to celebrate the Down syndrome, and this is like a lot of way to create visibility. I feel like for especially neurodivergent runners, it's very challenging, but to reserving the bib of 321 is like it's very impact. So it's like the number is very significant for Down syndrome community. It's a brilliant idea. So the number is powerful too, and introduce a stick there is like for raise awareness and show the impact of simple recognition, which I feel like is on here and no one can take it out after this. So everybody know what the number is stand for. So I think it's a very beautiful story and very that's why it's gone mainstream, and then not just Adidas, so it's like another brand can do it as well. So I think it's like very good work that we can share into our community on another in the world. So I think I wish I had work on this project. I'm so jealous of this. It's a very cool one.
It's good to hear when a creative says, I'm jealous of this project, but it's also true to Adidas, how they're able to inject awareness for Down syndrome through running, and it's a simple idea made impact, with such impact with just a bib. Every runner now has the number 321, at least those with Down syndrome, and they'll be represented in the race. So I think it's also very close to what Adidas stands for. So I think in terms of brand, it made sense. And you're right, it's such a simple thing, and other brands could take it on. And I think it's one of those ideas that can hopefully trigger more brands to think, hey, it's something as simple as that. And we can help people with Down syndrome and bring up, the issues and raise awareness for the cause. Well, thank you for that pick. Now let's talk to Valerie. Valerie, you chose one of my favorites as well. So tell us what you chose.
Yeah, I chose the Japan Railway by the Dentsu Inc. I think I love the two projects, the two pieces of work that Pop and Golda mentioned, but I think this project with the railway is another one that we've seen done very successfully everywhere. And it's very different in a sense of even from the challenge of the brief itself, right? Just to get people to take the train. I mean, how dry can that brief be? And I think when I learned more about the campaign and I learned how much hard work, passion, resilience went into creating, they started off by doing 300 of these stamps in 3 months, and then they went on to build more, and I think by now or so they have more than 900 stamps. And they're saying that there's 6,000 train stations, so I think we know how hard it is, right, in the agency when we have people are working on multiple briefs at a time, and to devote that kind of commitment to craft every single piece of stamp, right, and create so many versions of it. And what I love about it, and of course it won really big in art direction and in craft, is the fact that it reminds us that there's something magical about human handcrafted work.
Yes.
And I think in this day and age when we're all talking about AI and efficiency, and it sort of scares me. That I'm also thinking, can AI be churning the rest of the 6,000, which I wish it wouldn't. Like, and I
question to ask, right?
yeah, and I want to believe that there will be something missing in that craft, like like how why I love pottery. Like you can feel, even if it's not spoken, you can feel that there's something magical about when humans touch something.
Yeah.
So I hope that that is the same magic that lives in every single stamp. That's why it's such a successful campaign. I hear it from my Japanese colleagues too, and many other juries that I've been in. All the Japanese representatives have said they've seen this in real life. It's happening, and people are continuing to collect these stamps. So I believe like there is it draws you because of the craft, right? I mean, it's not some gimmicky smart idea, it's a very simple idea, but the idea depends on great craft to deliver. So I think that's something that I thought it's worth talking about it these days, when probably people might be thinking, just put it into Chat GPT or another Mid Journey and see how the number of stamps is going to turn out, right? I wish it won't happen.
But yeah, I'm glad you talked about craft. This is really exceptional craft, and the value of using your hands to craft. I think that is something I think the industry wants to encourage, that versus a digital manipulation or digital illustrations. And one thing about My Japan Railways campaign is it was an anniversary campaign. It was supposed to last for only a year, and then it was so successful that it's continuing beyond the anniversary year. And people are experiencing it within Japan. So it's a very effective campaign and beautifully crafted. So ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this My Railway campaign by Dentsu Japan for their client, JR Group. Awesome work. All right. So several of the Grand Prix winning campaigns this year, such as your pick, Runner 321, Women's Football, the 100th edition, address social issues, including neurodiversity, historical remembrance for the 100th edition, gender biases in the football, But how do you weigh the social impact of these campaigns against their creative execution, right? And also, how do you feel that brands are latching into this in a big way, as they had for quite some time now? Could you tell us how you feel about, the social impacts that's used as a message for these campaigns against how they're delivered executionally?
So as a social audience, I think it's a simple truth that drives creative execution. So the hidden facts that we might not notice or care about, like the women football, is have really hit me and made me confront to my own bias at the very when I saw it. I feel like, oh my God, because I'm a fan of LFC. I watched soccer with the men, but I never had a chance to watch the women before. So after see the ad, I'm sure that the woman is play exciting as a man for sure in the game, and really broke the barrier for me, how I can view the soccer. That's something like that.
Yeah, so the discovery of the hidden facts is how creative you can be about certain issues. Is the discoverability, I guess, of those things. And how about you, Valerie? How do you feel about this?
I think I probably touch a little bit more on maybe a lot of judges these days are beginning to be more careful about awarding work that's of social impact. Often, I think many years in the past, I would say we probably tend to see a lot of smart, gimmicky ideas, and they would still be awarded. I think these days we are very careful to make sure that there's real impact. Or else, even if we got the smartest idea, I don't think it deserves to win. Because especially with if it's for a social cause, we have to make sure that it's a genuine attempt to help. And increasingly these days, we are even questioning how committed is the brand, to do this long term. When you want to do good, it cannot be just for a 3-month campaign.
Correct.
It takes a long time and commitment to solve real world problems, right? So I think increasingly, I think it's very important I tend to always see the results first.
Yes.
Before I even want to look at your execution.
I like you, Valerie. I mean, isn't it changing the way we look at ads these days, right? I think the judges have become the wiser. It's not just about creativity, but did it impact it? Is it true to the brand? And it's good that these questions are being brought out in the judging these days, because yes, it could be just a stunt or latching on to something they know will touch the heart of the community and the judges. So to your point, it should really be solving real world problems and authentically, right? Yeah. How about you, Golda, from your perspective? Since she told me before we went on this call that she's the only suit account manager in this panel of creatives. I said, but you've been a creative suit for such a long time. It's great to hear your perspective, Golda, on this.
Well, first of all, I really like the Runner 321 and the 100th edition. So it's always a balancing act, to balance social impact and the creative execution. It's always a delicate thing to manage. But I thought these two, their social messages really were woven seamlessly into the creative idea. And the social message didn't really overshadow the storytelling. It was just, they worked in harmony. So it all made sense. Like for 321, I love that, 3 iconic things, the iconic brand, Adidas, the iconic event, the Boston Marathon, and then this iconic number, which is 321, which is really iconic to the Down syndrome community. In fact, I found out Down Syndrome Day is actually celebrated on March 21, 321. So the putting all these together, it's just, and I think even the agency who did this had a study that physical exercise can improve cognitive function for people with Down syndrome. So everything had a role, everything had a meaning. So my reaction was everything was harmonious, just like the so just like the my reaction in the 100th edition, it was so powerful. I mean, the German newspaper featuring a 102-year-old Holocaust survivor to commemorate their 100th edition.
Yes, she was the only one left who survived. It was so well
Yes,
crafted.
right.
Yeah.
So how powerful. It's really, again, and I think that's actually a BML agency who did this. And they chose to confront the side of this anti-Semitism head on. And of course, the German paper, I just felt, they were on the wrong side of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So I think your point was it's the appropriateness of the brand to the
Yes,
message.
right. And and I felt that they're kind of finding their way to the right side with just choosing this 100th with who's this Margot Freelander, right? Choosing her. So I felt that was really it was so powerful. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks
Actually,
for
there's
that.
even like Angel, from a technical side, creative technical side, this actually shows that print can remain to be a powerful medium. in
Thank
this
you for
very
that. Thank you for that. Yes,
Right.
yes.
So
For sure, for sure. In fact, I'd love to have a discussion on print down the line, but thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we've seen, right, some outstanding Grand Prix campaigns, and I'd like to talk a little deeper about craft and execution, how we bring out these ideas into something magical when in the storytelling. Now, earlier we watched My Jam Pan Railway, which is brilliantly crafted. I mean, you can cry because of the brilliance of it. Now, let's look at this campaign that also is a great pick. It's the Square Meter by him at TBWA Berlin, Germany, Berlin for Hornback. I mean, just check it out. It's beautiful. Let's show the video. Right, so you have to say well shot, well edited, well crafted, very clever. Music is fantastic. So the question here lies is sometimes you think, does craft overshadow a strong idea? Sometimes, what are your thoughts on this? Or I know every time we come with a great idea, we want it well crafted. I know that's a basic knowledge that we want to do in our industry. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes we do such amazing craft for such a small idea. I'd love to hear from you what you think about this, discussion on craft versus idea and idea versus craft. So, Paul, you want to start with the discussion?
Okay, so I think it always works together between craft and the idea. So, and then as a creative, I believe that crafting the idea is just as important as crafting the execution. As you see, the theme of a square meter is it's really craft after the brief. From what I see is I believe that they're crafting for the brand that already craft to its roots as a German retailer. They specialists in DIY home improvement product. So that's why the theme is crafting in the square. You can see the frame that we are in the mobile phone, which is 16:9. And the theme is no matter what, we're going to do it in square, because it's they want to show that how the square meter is working. Something like that. I feel like there's a many way to do in this to execution this kind of visual. But I mean, to create this visual that I just saw from the frame is they choose the hard way to do it. They avoiding simple execution or use AI. So I think they made no compromise. So the result is truly remarkable, please. So you can feel very Wes Anderson kind of vibe.
Yes.
And I feel when I saw for the first time, it's is that a long shot? Is that a one shot? Or it's and the music and everything is is perfectly crafting until the end. I love this space. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a when you think about it, the brief is difficult. I mean, to be creative on a brief like this, right? I mean, think about it: DIY home improvement products. And then you come up with something so
boring.
Right? No, it's true. How about you, Valerie? I mean, you're a creative who lives and breathes creativity and brands and execution, and your love for craft. So do tell us how you feel about this and what you might want to bring across.
Yeah, I think you can't help but feel like there's an observation these days because of social media, right? Because of Instagram and because of TikTok, like it feels like you can get away with just good craft, right? Like you can do something beautiful and yeah, you will get an audience. People will share it. People will like. People love. We are visceral animals, right? But I think if I think about what makes some work win and some work iconic, it's the idea, right?
Yeah.
And I think about even a great film like this that we've seen. I don't know if like people will talk about it 10 years later versus like an idea like Fearless Girl,
True.
right? Like so, I would still believe that the idea is still very extremely important and should be the first thing that we should all be aiming to do. And yes, like you said, right from the start, that craft at a certain level is expected now.
Yeah.
To appeal to people, you need to be of a certain expectation. But like if you exceed in craft, like this film did, I would still say, will it become iconic? Right?
So that's a good measure, right? It's like you can do great craft on a good idea, but will it be iconic is what you aim for, right? So it stands out and it has a life beyond the airing date. Okay, that's a good point to bring out. Yeah, so shall I go to the next question now? Now, based on the campaign you judge, because you've seen a lot of work for this year, the great ads that get submitted into Gerety. Do you see trends emerging in advertising and brand communications? We know this discussion on AI. We talk about purpose-driven work. How do you think these trends will shape the future of creative work in our industry? So do tell us, from the work you've seen, what trends you see, and will it shape the future of creative work moving forward? So yes, Paul?
Okay. As an iPhone launched a few days ago, I think yesterday, it's like
yes.
they focusing on the Apple intelligence kind of stuff, and I feel like the AI is with us everywhere. It's like seamlessly inject to our life. It's like, but how that as a creative, how can we bring the AI, use them to ensure that they were the right person in the right job, something like that, focusing on the enhanced creativity without overwhelming the human element, something like that. Because I feel like I still believe in the human craftsmanship, like the Japan Railway, like the horseback that we saw, will become stronger in the future. So people will like get into it. I saw some people like go to the workshop, like making the furniture by themselves, by their hands. So it's a one of the kind of stuff. I think that would be something like even women will craving for more rather than doing just prompt on the laptop. That's what I thought.
How about you, Golda? AI is there and it can really, it's smart. I've seen it. They can do amazing things. They can write copy. They can craft everything at speed. How do you think the human and an empathetic human or funny human or, us social humans can, I don't know, beat the machine so that we're not overtaken by the machine? So Golda, what do you think?
Well, so it's such a tough question.
It is. It's live. It's current. It's a current problem.
It is no, but I guess the integration of tech and storytelling, it's important. So it still goes back to that you putting in the humanity in it, because I guess thinking of experiences and how it can be immersive and how you can personalize it, it will still come from us, thinking about it. Our creativity, it will still come from that. So and right now we know that the lines it's blurring already, but I think it still go back to our humanity if you're talking about technology. But I wanted to mention that there's a trend there. Well, looking at the work, it seems that there's also an increased focus on purpose-driven communications, right? So brands are not just selling products anymore. So I guess a lot of AI also, but brands are also trying to study a lot of AI. But in terms of purpose-driven, they're aligning themselves with causes, with values that we resonate with their modern consumers. It may be slow burn, but I get it doesn't have immediate returns. But for me, I really believe, hopefully it will drive long-term growth because I think brands who focus on purpose-driven forms, not just as a tactical effort, but part of the company's purpose, they're better positioned for sustained growth because they're able to build a relationship with their customers, and that's what we want also for our clients. Our success is also their success. You want repeat purchase, you want increased lifetime customer value, right? So that's why the AI or the technology is one trend I'm seeing, as Pulp had mentioned, and also this focus on purpose driven comms.
Yeah, purpose-driven comms also comes from the research on consumers, right? Consumers now want to buy brands that they believe and trust in.
Yes.
So I think because of that, it's not just the brands wanting to feed the consumers with all of this, but it's also the consumers demanding something from brands that they believe in. So it works because the consumers ask for it too. They want to they want to patronize brands that has values that link with theirs or ties in with theirs. So it's a good trend that you brought up, and thank you for bringing that up. So Valerie, how about on your end, based on what you've seen? We talked about AI, we talked about brand purpose. Do you see any trends that is shaping the advertising industry?
I think the one fundamental thing that we can't deny is a trend will be led by our clients' needs. Like the agency is gonna do what the clients want, yeah. Like so I think one thing that's on the tip of like clients' tongue is always commerce, right? I think whenever we bring that topic up in the room, you can see our clients' eyes light up. But I think it's still creative commerce is still a fairly new category in a lot of shows. And it's exciting. I think a lot of agencies are just beginning to sort of put a lot of focus on that and what it actually means. And because of that, it also means that it's a lot of unexplored territory about it, right? Whether do we partner enough with the likes of Lazada and all your Shoppees, and how do we get creative with it? Because today what we're seeing is just typical functional technical way of selling, right? It's going to be exciting to see how the creativity starts blossoming in commerce, and I think we'll see more and more of it there, because it's not difficult to sell a great commerce idea to your client. Like for them, it's like a no-brainer.
Not only that, you've got a captured audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like immediately, they want to buy it. So how do you make it fun or interesting? No, I agree with you. It's a great creative canvas, the field of e-commerce. And yeah, I hope more agencies will look into that space for their brands. Indeed, everything now is using tech. There's a Philippine brand called Pick Up Coffee here, and they call it now Coffee Tech. You can buy everything using tech, and it's a commerce platform, but it's for coffee. It's so customizable. It's incredible. But you're right. You want to look at more creativity within that space. And I don't think a lot of agencies have gotten there yet or haven't experienced it. So at least for us, Valerie says that's a future trend that we can look at in the future of creativity. So last question is, as we conclude this wonderful Gerety Executive Jury Insights, what inspires you to do better, when it comes to creative work? What drives you right now to fuel your ambition to do greater work? And I know everyone in this panel, without a doubt, wants to do great work for their brands and also want to get awards as a result of it and impact on the market and on your own agency. So what fuels you guys now? And how do you continue to love what you do? So Paul, tell us.
So
what's driving you these days?
Definitely about the work that I'm jealous about the work. I try to like learn from like a runner 321 and the woman in football kind of stuff, and I feel like that's drive me to extend my idea. And it's like I know like it's no longer time to use the budget as an excuse for not creating the great work, and I learned to accept that, to subscribe to AI programs, make friends with them, and push
Oh, okay. You want
boundaries
to
into
make
my
friends with
thinking.
AI. Great.
Yeah, something like that. Because I feel like, as you know, Hong Kong is very fastest pacing in the world. So having AI friends that keep up with your mind is essential, something like that. So it's like it can charter for your data kind of stuff that you go for strategic part by yourself, and then when you have more time to crafting the idea, something like that. So I
That's
feel like,
great.
okay, there's a room that can managing kind of stuff. Yes, and the clients as well. Clients want something fast, cheap, something like that. So it could be,
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, that's how you can build your creativity by, learning all the AI tools, and also saying that budget is not an excuse for creating great work.
yeah.
Good to hear. It's really it's going to drive a lot of creatives hearing what you had to say, and I hope people do learn how to use AI and know how to work with it. How about you, Valerie? What's driving you creatively?
I think, it's never change, I believe. And, it's never about like another external factor outside. And, it's not about competing with somebody else, but I believe your best competition is yourself. And I think it's personal agenda and challenge. Like we're just obsessed with like wondering, how much can we get better? And like I want to make sure that the next project is never the same, the next project is getting harder. And that's how I push myself, and that's how I push my teams to, and that's what I tell my team to, like, you have to want to do the next thing, and a better thing, not the same thing, and not repeat the same thing. It's a personal sport, in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it just fuels itself, and I believe this is what keeps us going. Because if there is a very clear finishing line, then once you cross the finishing line, then you're done.
Yeah. And I always say, right, you're as good as your last piece of work.
Exactly.
You have to move on.
Yeah.
So I like that. I mean, it's about your personal competition and to outdo yourself each time. But it's humanity. It's really knowing what you're capable of doing, and that's pushing you. Well, as you say, it's very personal. Well, that's really good to hear. How about you, Golda? How are you pushing yourself from the client agency account management side? I know your push is different.
Yeah.
What's your push?
Well, I'd like to say I always have this creative lens because an agency, our output is really our work, right? So it always goes back to that. But seeing all this really wonderful work, really, as you had noted, you're inspired. I'm inspired. I'm motivated. But you still have that healthy level of insecurity, that healthy level of envy, and because of that, it makes you realize that it's possible to push creative teams, to take risks, and to push boundaries. So for me, the kind of work that will always drive me to push further is really when it challenges norms or it takes a fresher approach to social issues. And I know it can be inclusivity, but for me, it's also about creative resilience. How do we push ourselves or our teams, that ability to sustain and regenerate, right? Our creative energy and our ideas, despite the many challenges that we face, how do we now allow our teams to keep on producing meaningful work, even under pressure, even adversity? Because that's what we're going through right now. It's tough right now. It's not just about winning awards. It is really about, for me, it's about being able to contribute to industry that is constantly evolving, to become, how do we help this industry to become more inclusive, more forward thinking? So it's always like my wish to be able to have a chance to be able to do this with our client partners. So
let's keep pushing and pushing the brand. So thank you very much for today's conversation. We did see excellent work across different brands. A lot of it did cover gender, neurodiversity, and even craft, the challenges with AI, or not a challenge, but how we use it, how we pick on opportunities with working with e-commerce or commerce sites. Always the brand is front and center, I think, in everything that we do. It's still the business of creativity. And that's what Adobo Talks is about. So thank you very, very much for your input today. Thank you, Golda. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Pulp. I'll visit Hong Kong. And then Valerie, I'll see you soon when you come to Manila. So thanks for sharing your insight, your candid reflections. And it makes us feel like we're right there with you in the jury room. I also want to express our gratitude to our viewers who are tuned in today. But if you missed this one because you're busy at work, you can watch this as a video on demand live stream on our YouTube channel of Adobo Magazine and on Facebook. So thank you, ladies. Have a great day. This is Angel Guerrero thanking you for tuning in to Adobo Magazine. The
Thank
word.
you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
It was late. Frances was just finishing up a De Beers honeymoon series. She reveled in her work. Time seemed to evaporate when she was writing. There was just one thing left now: the tagline. She pondered yet again the consumer. What does that diamond represent to them? What does everyone want in their relationship? No, she corrected herself. What does everyone want in life? We all want to leave a mark on the world, no? In one way or another, we all want to be remembered. A diamond, she thought. A diamond is forever.
The Frankfurter Allgemeine is one of Germany's leading newspapers, and for decades, it has become famous for its Brilliant Minds campaign, a campaign that features cultural icons with their faces hidden by the newspaper, with only their surroundings to reveal their identities. For 99 editions, the campaign has featured Oscar winners, Nobel laureates, sports legends, German chancellors, and many more.
But with right-wing extremism on the rise in Germany, we wanted to find a very special Brilliant Mind for the 100th edition.
Für mich ist es wichtig, Mensch zu sein.
So we asked Margot Friedlander, one of Germany's last living survivors of the Holocaust. Even though Margot Friedlander had lost her entire family in Auschwitz, at 102 years old, she still had love in her heart
and words of wisdom for the entire country.
Es gibt kein christliches, kein muslimisches, kein jüdisches Blut, es gibt nur menschliches Blut. Es gibt gar keinen Unterschied. Wir sind doch Menschen. Wir können nicht alle gut sein, aber menschlich doch nicht. Ich finde, es ist leichter, Menschen anzuerkennen, als sie zu hassen oder so. Ne?
My fear was Taliban would come after me at my house and just kill me on spot.
When the rights of women were taken away overnight, the girls of the Afghan national youth football team had a target on their backs.
در دفتر معامله شده و امی تیم نوجوانای دخترها که هستن زیر خطر هستن.
Privacy was their only hope.
کوشش میکنم که شما را از افغانستان انتقال بدم.
This is the life or death story of their escape. Which they orchestrated entirely on WhatsApp.
وکسایتان آماده باشه، امرای نان و او.
لطفاً کل اسنادهایتان بر من از طریق واتساپ.
A 30-minute documentary on Amazon Prime Video. Launched during the 2023 Women's World Cup. 550 million impressions. A true story from WhatsApp about the power of sisterhood and the human right to privacy.
His famous number 3, 23, is back.
When I was a kid, I rarely saw anyone who looks like me in mainstream sports. And now we're chasing that.
321 signifies the chromosome that causes Down syndrome.
Break. So Adidas is creating a number to represent the Down syndrome community.
Now, just like every other sport, running has an iconic number.
Adidas is calling on every major marathon to hold bib 321 for an athlete with Down syndrome so that more athletes will see themselves represented in mainstream sports.
It's time we shall run a 3-2-1 every race.
Chris Nikic made an impression on everyone who saw that moment at the finish line at the October Boston Marathon. Chris, such an inspiration.
Yeah.
We are really excited to be holding runner 321 bib for all of our races this year.
I want everyone like me to see possible for them too.
Bib 321 will inspire a whole generation of runners.
The French women's national team is drawing attention with a new ad.
Publicité, je sais pas si vous l'avez vu, elle est incroyable. Tem comercial que tá bombando, né?
É sensacional. Best marketing I've ever seen.
It is the most amazing thing I have ever seen. It's the best ad I've seen anywhere.
The exact kind of thing that would go viral.
Stop what you're doing and watch this right now.
Ouais, c'est passé.
Bravo.
Oui, c'est passé.
Oh, oui.
Les Bleus qui reviennent dans le match.
Et on a encore le droit de rêver. Oh, qu'est-ce que c'est que ici?
Avec le pied droit. Ah, il va être direct.
Ça part.
Le centre en frais. C'est ça, le football qu'on aime.
Oh my god, it's so good.
2-minute video, the footage rewinds.
The VFX are removed. It is in fact the elite French women's teams.
Pegou futebol feminino.
Ils en réalité, ce sont les femmes de l'équipe de France.
Wait, what? All right, mate, show me what I'm looking at.
That tells me that women can't play like men, they can even play better.